Greetings from the Eccentric Man, and in this video it's all about how I paint bronze statues. The Eccentric Man YouTube channel is kindly sponsored by Lost Ark Games Stevenage. Check them out online or in store for all your gaming goodies. John at Lost Ark had some bits in from Tabletop Combat, and they were statue type things. So I bought one and I thought, oh, I can use that plinth. And what I wanted to do was make some table scatter, but with it to be able to be used from really early on in my games, so the ancient Romans that I have, all the way through up until probably World War II perhaps, with a statue for the Mediterranean. I had a rummage in my bits box and came out with a flagstone base by Renadra. The figure is from Hammerhead, probably 2 years ago now, and the plinth is from Tabletop Combat. So put them all together. The figure at the top is primed in Halford's primer. It's a car spray paint here in the UK. Let's have a look at the paints that we're going to be using. So we'll start from left to right. So we've got Citadel, it's Screaming Skull, and then we've got Retributor Armour from Games Workshop, Citadel Zandridust, Layer of Shabty Bone, Nickel Oxide, Base XV88, Morghast Bone. Back row on the left again, we've got Army Painter, Plate Mail Metal, Vallejo New Wood, Annie's Magic Wash. I'll go through that and what it is, and then we've got Army Painter Quick Shade Soft Tone, Nuln Oil from Games Workshop, and Ivory. Missing from here is Iraqi Sand from Vallejo. Annie's Magic Wash is 2 parts Seraphim Sepia, 2 parts Agrath's Earthshade, a few drops of Drakenhof Nightshade, and 1 part Lamium Medium, all mixed together to give you a shading wash. I should have mentioned that the primer that I used for the base and the plinth was Vallejo Air Dunkelgelb, which is German yellow-brown. I use that on all the plastics. I gave the figure a coat of Retributor Armour. It's a really good covering paint for doing your golds and your bronze and things like that. So that was the base primed for the statue and the statue itself. I started on the plinth using Ushabti Bone, but when I put it on, it really was a little bit too dark for what I was looking for. So out with the Ivory Vallejo, mixed it up with the Ushabti, and we've got a much nicer base coat, a lighter colour that I wanted for the stone of the plinth. Onto the base, the flagstones. So what I do is randomise the colours on the base, and here I've used Ushabti Bone, Vallejo New Wood, Zandridust, and Base 88. I'm going to do highlighting of the base using Ivory on all the base colours. But the next up will be a little bit of work on the statue itself and a bit more work on the base. Fairly straightforward, just a wash of Nuln Oil. However, I did water the Nuln Oil down a little bit to make it not quite as dark as it went onto the statue. I wanted the statue to have a little bit of an old feel to it, not ancient but old, and a little bit of wear and tear. To add to that feeling, I applied the technical paint, the Games Workshop technical paint, Nickel Oxide, and used that to just dot a few places over it to give a look of a bit of verdigris where the bronze is aging. So not too much, but just enough to give it that look. So we did that front and back, And then what we then wanted to do was just to bring up the highlight a bit more, and that was to give a little dry brush with the Retributor armour again, and then mix in some of the plate mail metal, just to give it a little highlight, and then a final touch of the plate metal highlight on its own, but it's fine dry brushing. That then brought us back to the base. As you can see, it's just roughly blocked in, base painted, following the flagstones on the Renadra base. It doesn't look good now, but by the time we finished it, it will look much better. So as with everything, what I needed to apply was a wash of Ali's Magic Wash. And then you can see what it looks like first up with the first wash. And yes, it still looks messy and dirty, but it won't be once we've finished. So, got the wash on. Our next step is to add in the Vallejo Ivory into the base colours. And you can see here, I have swapped out the new wood for Vallejo Orange Brown. The mix between the 88 and the new wood was too close. So I've now gone on and put on the first highlight layer, I suppose. But you can see that I'm trying to leave some of the darker colours showing through from the base coat and the wash. And that then gives us a sort of an idea of the paving. Once that was dry, I added in a bit more of the ivory and took it up to its second layer. And it just made it look a little bit more stone-like. You can see there I've going the same way with the plinth, so adding in ivory into the Ushabti bone to get it to there, and then a little bit of skull white into it. Yeah, it is a bit messy at the bottom of it because I was doing a bit of dry brushing on there, but you won't see that once I've finished. Final bit of work is using the Iraqi sand, and what I've done that is a dry brush over the flagstones, and that brings all the stones in together and tones them down and makes them much more flagstone in their appearance. Around the base of the plinth, I've put in some tufts of grass, just like weeds coming up, just to make it look a little bit lived in, shall we say. And that's the completed statue. I think it will look really good on the table with the ancient Romans and through to the medieval Italy, and then into the peninsula for my sharp practice, and then perhaps even into Sicily for 43. Who knows? And perhaps Italy campaign. But that's it done. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you can put the same techniques into play with your own scatter. Just bring things to life on your table. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification button, and then you'll get notice of all the new videos when they first come up. So thanks very much for watching, and keep your eyes peeled for the next video.